Newly elected Senator Elizabeth Warren says the minimum wage would be nearly $22 an hour today if it had kept up with increased rates in worker productivity. The Massachusetts Democrats cited a study this last week during a Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions hearing. Take a listen.
If we started in 1960 and we said that as productivity goes up, that is, as workers are producing more, then the minimum wage is going to go up the same. And if that were the case, the minimum wage today would be about $22 an hour. So my question, Mr. Dubé, with a minimum wage of $7.25 an hour, is what happened to the other $14.75? It sure didn't go to the worker.
It didn't seem Warren was actually trying to make the case for a $22 hour minimum wage, but highlighting the study's results that showed flat minimum wage growth over the past 40+ years.
There was a big conversation among progressives that took place when Elizabeth Warren was being nominated, or progressives, many progressives hoped that she would be nominated to head the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. She ultimately didn't get that nomination and ran for the Senate. And a lot of progressives were worried that she would just be sort of a silent and ineffective senator, because the reality is you can't actually do a lot of policy making in the Senate. It's a place where legislation really goes to die.
Especially if you're on the extreme end of the spectrum.
Right.
Right. But I think what you're seeing from Elizabeth Warren is a willingness to use her elected office to make a public case for policies that are good for working Americans. I think this is something that the people who know her and who followed her career could have expected. But I think the willingness to just sort of jump right into the pit, I guess, has surprised some people. You know, the type of advocacy she's doing here should be distinguished from the type of advocacy that somebody like Ted Cruz has been doing among conservatives for the right. I mean, he is engaged in these sort of quasi-McCarthyist attacks, claiming that suggesting that various Obama appointees have been taking funding from the North Korean government and stuff with no evidence. Elizabeth Warren is citing actual economic studies and highlighting a tension that didn't used to be present in the American economy and that was something that would have been considered controversial 30 or 40 years ago. Productivity is the measure of a worker's value to the company he works for or she works for and to the economy at large. It's a measurement of the sort of time value of their labor to the broader economy. And the idea behind this study is to say, well, look, if the minimum wage was at X in the 1970s and worker productivity created all this additional value for the broader economy, we would expect to see worker wages increase commensurately. She is trying to raise attention to an issue that I think resonates really deeply with most Americans, which is that the economy is kind of stacked against them. The deck is stacked against most Americans in the economy. And that if you were getting a fair wage right now relative to the output of your work, you'd probably be getting paid more unless you're already very wealthy. So I think most people believe that. And I kind of disagree with you, Ahmed, a little bit. I think if tomorrow all of a sudden $22 an hour minimum wage became law, a lot of people would be really stoked about it.